G'day guys, Wearman here, welcome back to the workshop. We're running a few little quickie workshop optional rule things through, see what everybody reckons. I'm here with Adam again, say g'day buddy.
Hello, here I am. It's funny, I was just sort of only supposed to join your little workshop for a short time with those few little things, because you wanted some advice on them.
Yeah.
So I thought we'd discuss it and record it, but...
And I haven't done one on my own in ages. I'm gonna have to get back in the swing of things.
Get some special guests or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Woohoo.
It's we'll get Hugh Jackman. It's I think it's cool when you're discussing the optional rules to have someone else there that kind of knows the rules as well, like the base game rules fairly well, so that you can decide like whether you like it or not. Sort of thing, you know.
Yeah.
You can bounce the actual, like the optional rule off the real rules and see what you think would be good.
And anyone who just says, "Oh no, I don't like that," force them to explain why. Well,
that's it. Yeah,
because it's cool. You've got to know.
If you are in a gaming group and you do want to try some of these rules out, then it's well worth having a talk to somebody. And I've mentioned this before. Just set up a little arena game, a quick death match, 1 unit each. Put the optional rule on the table, make sure everybody knows what it is and how it works, and then try it out. And it's the best way to try it.
Yeah.
To just give it a shot and see what happens.
Test it with Wolverines.
Yes.
Any Wolverine you like.
You can get Hugh Jackman too. Turn out he's like, what's his features? It was into, what's the Superman guy that's into Warhammer? The Superman guy that's into Warhammer?
Henry or whatever. Henry Cavill.
Cavill.
Or whatever.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe Hugh Jackman secretly a BattleTech fan.
Yeah, maybe.
You never know.
If we pay him enough.
I don't know how we got onto that. I think it was just the Wolverine thing. Anywho, if you go back, we've been doing some aerospace stuff. Yes?
Absolutely.
Yes. And one of the things that we covered in aerospace was both strafing attacks and bombing run attacks. Now, in amongst TAC Ops, specifically on page 107 and 108, there are variant rules. They are advanced. They require a little bit more record keeping, as all of these sort of things do. They'll always complicate, lengthen your game, and require more record keeping. So, like I say, take that into consideration. But you can use those strafing and bombing rules with your VTOLs. So your warrior attack helicopters, your mantis, your what's another good one? If you've got any energy weapons on a Karnov or any of those sort of things, I don't think your yellow jacket can. Is there an energy-based yellow jacket?
Wow. No, I don't think so.
I know there's the hawk moth or something that's like a light Gauss instead.
Yeah. But I mean, the mantis is good because it's got 5 ER small lasers or something.
So, in advanced rules play, VTOLs may make strafing and bombing attacks in much the same way as aerospace fighters. The standard rules apply. They've got pages 243 to 246 in Total War, and we can hopefully link you or point you towards the video or videos where we discussed it, with the following exceptions. So, VTOLs can make strafing attacks in much the same way as aerospace fighters. Use all the same rules, except... Controlling player declares the attack during the movement phase of a turn, but its effects are not resolved until the end of the weapon attack phase. Right? After all other attacks have been resolved. If there are multiple VTOL strafing dive bombing attacks, randomly determine the order in which they are resolved. This means the unit in the path of the attack that has not yet moved may choose to leave the area and thereby avoid being strafed. Now, you can't do that with aerospace units because I think they do all of their stuff after everybody's moved.
That's right. Yeah, the huge advantage.
I was trying to remember that while I was reading the thing, and I couldn't be bothered looking it up. I figured you'd know, but yeah, so you've got a slight advantage if they're using the VTOLs, because if they move before all of the stuff that's trying to strafe has moved, then you've got the opportunity to move them out of the way.
Yeah, you just move out of the way of
that sucks a little. It's following all the same rules, so you have to have the same like line of hexes, and you hit everything in that line and all that jazz. Okay?
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, it's really good. So a VTOL that makes a strafing attack may make no other weapon attacks during the same turn. Its AMS can still be used to defend against incoming missile attacks, though. The VTOL may strafe as it moves over hexes, but must fly over each hex to be strafed. As it strafes, the VTOL must maintain a constant elevation and may not make facing changes. Before and after strafing, the VTOL may move normally. You can strafe with one, some, or all of your turret or front-mounted energy weapons. So it is a straight line thing. You can't do corners, okay, which with a VTOL you'd think you might be able to do, but no, you still have to follow a straight line. You can still only use energy weapons, and they have to be either inner turret or front-facing. But you can cover the... See, it doesn't say technically that it only flies over those specific hexes, but it says that you follow all the standard rules with these exceptions, and it doesn't say that you can strafe more hexes than a standard strafe. So I'm going with, you make a standard, there's the rain coming in, and makes a standard strafe of those. I'm pretty sure it was 5 hexes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 5 linked hexes in a straight line. Everything in that straight line gets shot with your energy weapons.
Yeah, with all of the weapons that you declared to fire,
yep,
they all attack all of those hexes.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Which is really cool.
That makes the Mantis, like, really dangerous.
Really dangerous.
Get, like, all 4 of them come in and just all do the same thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
it's,
So because they can't change elevation, they can't do anything. So basically they just got to, where they start, they've got to set them up. Basically, just got to set them up right.
But before and after, you can make a change. So you can fly in, take a turn, make your strafing run, take a turn, and fly out again if you want to, right? You don't have to have your whole movement be in a straight line. It's only those 5 hexes that you're strafing. So you can maneuver around before and after, but those 5, you have to go in a straight line across and make your shots.
Yeah.
But that's pretty solid stuff.
Because the Mantis is, 914, if I remember rightly. So that's, pretty generous movement.
Sounds right. Something like that.
Yeah.
And it's ER smalls he's got, right?
Yeah, ER smalls.
Yeah, so it's 2 heat, 5 damage, out to 6. But they're all made at short range.
That's clan?
But
it's inner sphere. This is an inner sphere.
Oh, that's clan. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was looking at the wrong one. So the ER small is 3 damage.
3 damage.
Yeah. So
slightly longer range, but still only 3 damage. But it doesn't matter. That's 5 of those doing 3 damage each.
That's potential for 15 points of damage across potentially 5 different targets, or more if you're stacking vehicles and things in there, because that whole 5 hex gets smashed. So you've got that option.
Yeah, that just makes them. Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's a new weapon of choice.
If you have a favourite VTOL and you've got some energy weapons on at least one variant, then this is a solid little option to put in there.
I reckon.
So also like aerospace fighters, they can make bombs, carry bombs on external racks using those rules. There are rules for carrying bombs on external racks on aerospace units. I don't know if we covered them, but it's page 245 of Total War. Safe thrust reductions are applied as cruising movement point reductions. So when you load up on bombs, you're losing safe thrust for aerospace units. For VTOLs that you want to do this to, you put it on an external rack and they lose cruising movement points per bomb. I think it's for every 5 tons or something.
I think it was for every 5 bomb slots,
you
lose 1 safe thrust. That's
which
for
would be
aerospace.
1 cruise.
1 cruise in this case.
Which will consequently drop your flank.
Yeah.
But if you're carrying some good, solid bombs, then it's probably worth a shot.
Yeah, that's right.
You can only make 1 bombing attack per turn and cannot make weapon or strafing attacks in the same turn. As with strafing, the controlling player declares the bombing attack during the movement phase. Player indicates the target hex, which must be one that the VTOL flew over during that turn. Though the VTOL may only strike one target hex, it may drop as many bombs as the player desires in that hex in a single turn.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The attack is resolved at the end of the weapon attack phase after all other attacks have been resolved. And again, you randomly do it if there's multiples. In the same manner as an aerospace fighter's dive bombing attack. So it counts technically as dive bomb. But you're doing a dive bomb into a hex that you've flown over in your movement phase,
right, yeah.
rather than having to do the dive and lose altitude and all that sort of stuff. Unlike aerospace fighter, which changes altitude during a dive bombing attack, a VTOL does not change elevations during a dive bombing attack. So you don't have to change your elevation, you don't have to do anything, you just have to move over that hex, and when you finish your movement, declare, I dropped bombs here.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Okay, so I've got like 10 bombs strung under the wings of my Karnov. I'm going to drop 5 of them here. I'm going to drop 5 of them there on the next turn. You can only do 1 attack per turn. So you can drop as many as you want in 1 attack along your flight path and then do the same again next turn. And you can get some really cool bombs. I don't know how many of them we've got on the channel listed at the moment, but maybe we can go through some. I know there's Inferno bombs. I know there's torpedo bombs. I'm pretty sure there's guided ones. There's all sorts of stuff that you can get. And as far as I know, as long as you can fit them on the unit, you can take whichever variant you want.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool, I think.
It's just, that's pretty crazy.
And that one is only reliant on strapping the bomb to the unit and paying the movement point penalties and things like that. It's not reliant on you having a specific type of weapon. So the strafing runs, some of your units won't be able to do. There just isn't a variant unless you're modding your units.
Yeah.
Which I would. But I mean, you take the Gauss rifle off a Yellow Jacket, give it a little bit more speed and a bunch of medium lasers or something, and boom. But that's just me. All you have to do is be willing to drop a certain number of your cruising movement points, recalculate your flank movement points, and then drop bombs as you go. That's it. It's pretty cool.
Oh, they're just, again, Mantis getting really, 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 really dangerous now.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's a max of 10% of your weight or something you're allowed to fit on in bombs.
Well, it's based on your probably engine rating and stuff as well.
Yeah.
Because you need, I think you need at least a cruising of 2 to take off if you've got bombs.
Yep. Yeah, capacity varies. Each unit can carry 1 bomb for every 5 tons of mass, but each increment of 5 bombs or part thereof carried reduces the unit's safe thrust by 1. So your cruising MP by 1.
Okay. So I think the Mantis was
is
40.
Is it 40 or? I think it's 40. Might be 35.
40?
I'm gonna look it up.
If it's 40, that's what, 8 bombs?
Yeah, one for every 5.
5, so 8. Yeah, 8 bombs.
So,
oh no, it's slowed down to 8-12. With that many bombs.
There was a little bit of sake there, but well done.
Oh, man.
Light attack VTOL. Let's look that up on Sana just quickly and see what it is. But, so it's
There it is.
Yeah, there he is. It is 15 tons.
15? Wow, we just... Okay.
I knew it was a light one. I just couldn't remember
really,
how light.
Really, really, really light. Okay.
Yeah, so he can carry 3 bombs.
3 bombs. So he's not slowed down. He's got 3 bombs that could potentially do 10 damage each if it's a high explosive.
Yeah, it's part thereof. So he'll drop 1.
I'll drop 1.
If you give him 3 bombs, 1 for each 5 tons, so he's 15 tons, he can carry 3.
Yeah.
He'll drop 1 off his cruise movement.
All right, so it's a minimum thereof. Minimum of, okay. Yeah. That's but still 8, 12.
Yeah. Yeah, his max speed is 184, so that'd be...
Yeah, it's a 914.
Something like that. Well, 184 k's an hour. Wouldn't that be more of an 18? I think it's a 1218. I know they're fast.
Yeah,
I know they're really fast because
Anyway,
I like them. I know they're really fast.
It doesn't matter. We both agree that it's an awesome chopper now.
It is
but
very
you
fast.
can do all this stuff if you include it in your games, and they're gonna swap out all the Savannah Masters like swarm to Mantis VTOL swarms with that, because why wouldn't you?
That's 5 ER small lasers and up to 3 bombs for 1 movement point drop, and 434 for your BV2. Solid little unit. Just under 1 million C-bills, 954,000.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And there's an ECM variant with a slave computer and a Guardian ECM suite and mast mount and all the other jazz. But, yeah.
And that is really handy too.
It is, yes. Very handy. But, yeah, I think that just adds a little bit. And I mean, it makes a certain amount of sense. I quite like that. I think that's pretty cool. You have a slight disadvantage because you're not in that same movement bracket as aerospace fighters. So you're not making your strafe technically until, like, some people will still have the opportunity to move out of the way if you're not careful.
Yes, that's right.
Is the point, right? So you have to be careful about how you do it and when, because some people, if they haven't moved, will have the opportunity to move out of the way. But even if you lose initiative and you have to go first, as long as you move that unit last, you're going to have some people that have stopped, and you're going to have some targets, especially with something that fast. I'm fairly certain it's a 1218, but somebody look that up and put a comment down.
Could be. Yeah, it was
I
really
think
it was really fast.
Because that's why I got them, because they were fast.
You know, if you had enough of those, you could actually like round up your enemy a little bit, because you're so fast and you've got all these capabilities. They just can't, you know.
Three bombs apiece, and then a strafing run with, what will we work it out? 15 potential damage.
Yeah.
Split into 5 possibles. That's quality.
You could just, like, if there's definitely a mech that you wanted to drop or something, you just wait till that one moves. You don't care about anybody else, and you just plan your maneuvers.
Yeah.
Going over them, and you just dump everything into that hex.
Yeah. Everybody just strafe along there.
Oh.
That would, yep. And I mean, you can't bomb and strafe at the same time, but that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. If they're still standing after that, doing a bit of a Godzilla thing, then you can come around and shoot. But
oh dear, I mean, there's no reason you can't just drop all 3 of your standard everyday HE bombs, which I will remind you cause 10 points of damage. So that's 30 points of damage split into 5-point damage groupings across everyone that's in that hex. And if it's a single unit, then that's, oh god, that's a lot of stuff. And if you've got like grouped up people, you can do your cluster bombs. That's quality. I like it.
If there's enough of the enemy, you've got to start thinning them. So you may as well. It doesn't matter if you have your little bombs that have the wider area but do less damage, because you know those cluster ones or whatever. You just just dump them.
For the guys that have mentioned this, and I know there are people out there who haven't necessarily put a comment down that this applies to as well. Sometimes the aerospace units, the aerospace rules, can be a bit involved. They are basically a completely different set of rules, and you might not want to include them in your games. This lets you get some sort of a feel for it. If you just go through the strafing rules in Total War and figure it all out and then just apply it to VTOLs, I think that's pretty cool. I think that works pretty well. And it's an option for people who want that little bit of extra spice but don't want to go to the extent of having the entire aerospace rules on the table. You know, you've got the option to put some like strafing runs and bombing runs in without having to fly aerospace units around the place, is the point. I think it's a pretty cool option. I mean, I've mentioned other ways you could dumb the aerospace unit like rules down, but that is one that's rules as written. It's an optional rule. It's in TAC Ops. It's pages 107 and 108. And it's just optional rules for vehicles and VTOL special attacks, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I like them.
Yeah.
All good. I mean, I can think of some others, and technically you can get super heavy VTOLs that go up to like 60 tons or something.
Oh, that could be handy.
Yeah. And support vehicles, it doesn't say you can't use support vehicles, so they can go up even higher. But yeah, guys that are taking Karnovs on the regular, I mean, you take your Karnov, you load your battle armor or your infantry units in there, and you strap a half a dozen bombs to the bottom, and boom, you've got an extra little surprise for your opponent when you're moving your infantry up, like downrange. You go, oh, we just passed over your Atlas. Oh,
yeah, here you go. You won't need that anymore.
There's 40 or 50 points worth of damage, mate. Have that.
You might as well just go all in. Just drop everything on something.
That's
you
it,
really
yeah.
want to bring it down.
Yeah. And especially with something that's carrying something like a Karnov probably would be, you'd say, okay, strap as many bombs onto it as you can, pick the biggest unit on the flight path to where I'm dropping my infantry off, and then just drop all of them on him and hope for a big hit.
Yeah.
I reckon that'd be fun. But yeah,
I like that. Thanks for finding that and sharing that.
No probs. It's interesting going down the rabbit hole sometimes, and there are some really cool things in here. And I want to mention too, before we finish off there, somebody mentioned this in a comment at one point, and it's entirely valid, and I don't know why I didn't point it out before, but some people, we can sit here and read the rules to you, and it won't sink in. Okay, it's not going to sink in. That's nobody's fault. It's just how people learn. If there is a specific rule and you genuinely want to include it into your games and you genuinely don't get it, then feel free to chuck a comment down under any of those things or mention the rule in a comment, and I'll see if we can put it into a scenario or just do a visual demo of it or something like that. We can probably figure it out.
Yeah.
If there's a bunch of people that want the same one, we can like run through a detailed thing on how it works with some examples and dice rolling and all that sort of stuff, and we'll like try and get the visual learners up to speed with everybody else. But yeah, it's like I say, that's definitely a thing, and I should have thought of that beforehand, but I didn't. But you know, such is life.
That's all right.
So yeah, if you've got a specific one that you want to see either explained with examples or that you want us to use in a battle, then chuck a comment down. All good?
All good.
All
Thank
good.
you.
All right, you guys stay groovy, and we'll see you in the next one.
Goodbye, everybody.